you had to get significant buyers. You had to get the significant accounts, enough of them. You can't just have one of them, because if they go down, then you go down with them. So you have to be diversified on your stream. So you have to have a lot of smaller ones, medium ones, and big ones. So you have to have them really. The more diversified you are, the more you're protected.
Okay, so those
several. For example, let's say you just have one account at that time, Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And Toys R Us, what happened to them, right?
Yeah.
It went bye-bye, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were just with Toys R Us, you were done. The same fate they got is your fate.
Yeah.
Now, let's say at Toys R Us, Target, Walmart, all the big box stores, and a lot. Early one was pre-Costco. It was Price Club. A lot of those ones, right? So if you were in on the Costco type, the wholesaler types, and you were on the small guys, there was a lot of more smaller people in specialty malls and things like that.
Yeah.
So the more diversified you are on your revenue stream, the more protected you are in case there's some hiccups, because not all retailers are going to survive with your product.
So that's some of the things that help you sustain in business and, last and build these different companies.
Yeah.
And then sell them for a profit or exit. So
and also, once you have your initial line out there, you got to keep innovating.
Yeah, yeah. So what was some of the best financial advice you received in business? Like anybody that you ran across, maybe was older than you, the best. Just
in business, well, you got to have staying power. You got to have access to capital.
Okay.
You either have staying power, your own capital, or access to capital.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you're not in business. You're working for somebody. You're getting a job.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
You're not in business.
Yeah.
Right. In business means you have staying power, whatever you're doing. Most businesses go out of business because of a lack of staying power. They just run out of ability to service debt, and they got to close.
So you got to pay your bills.
You got to pay your bills, and you got to keep yourself alive.
Yeah.
Off the streets.
Yeah.
You can't be in a cardboard box and looking silly. You got to be groomed, and you got to present yourself.
Yeah. So it's all about your approach, being clean, talking the right words, saying the right things, meeting the right people.
Yeah.
Having the right connections in business.
Yeah.
So
you're either selling ideas, you're selling yourself to perform those ideas.
Yeah.
And to carry them out.
Gotcha. So what was some of the worst advice you received in business? Like I know you've seen other people that was messing up, probably losing out. Even that. Like what's some of the things, the worst advice or the worst things you've seen in business?
To tell you the truth, I didn't get a lot of advice. I got a lot of examples presented in my face.
Gotcha.
So what you do is you have to differentiate. You're going to see a lot of things, a lot of examples of successful models and unsuccessful models. You're going to see everything, and you have to differentiate. Okay, what are these guys doing wrong? What are these guys doing right? And you have to learn from the people who are doing it right, and you have to basically make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes of the people doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So you have to look at the whole picture, because not everybody does it right, and not everybody does it wrong.
Yeah.
So it's made up of everything.
Yeah. So you learn just off experience, seeing other entrepreneurs, ups and downs, your ups and downs. That's kind of how
the numbers don't lie.
Yeah. So the numbers guy. We're going back to the numbers.
Yeah. Business is 20% numbers and 80% the other unexplainable, the other things like the skills of performing it and recognizing opportunities.
Yeah. The mindset. You able to seek out.
Like if you see an opportunity and you recognize that's a great opportunity, but you don't know how to seize on that opportunity. Well, you just lost the most valuable thing right there.
Yeah.
Because it was there, and you can say coulda, woulda, shoulda. I should have jumped on it. I should have. Or you can just learn to recognize these opportunities. Don't look in the past. Go forward. You can't bring back the past. It's done.
Gotcha.
and the future hasn't happened yet. You just have to stay in the now. I know that's a cliche, but you really do have to stay in the moment and recognize what's going on right now and prepare for the future. But you can't live in the future because it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And you can't stay in the past because it's over. It doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is now.
Yeah. So seize the moment of now. So going back to the finances, what does money really mean to you right now, today? And KL, all the years of business, all the years you've been living, and what does money mean to you now? What was all the entrepreneurship, making the money?
I mean, there's different kinds of money now,
yeah.
Right? So, we're getting into a different argument, but the money that the money that you couldn't change yesterday, right, into another month, those are fiats. That's just fiat. That's backed by nothing except the government or a banking system, private banking system within that government. And is it backed by the production of that country? We don't know what it's really backed by. That's why you're starting to see all these alternative internet currencies, cryptos, and all this other type of token systems. Finance. You're trying to create a way to perform fulfill the transaction.
Yeah. And
keep it as holding power, has staying power. Yeah. It's a stable currency. It doesn't. You make it today and it's not worth 9. Yeah. For example, you make $1 a day and it's not worth 10 cents tomorrow. You don't obviously want to have that type of currency.
KL, ladies and gentlemen, KL is a really diverse. It's like I call it the crossroads of Asia, really. So it's all different type of exchanges and currency exchanges here. So, what we're talking about now, like the money, is it means different things in different places. I'll say that, especially the U.S. dollar here. But I guess what I wanted to ask you, the people that might be watching, what's the psychology of a business owner? What's some of the things that you have to learn or to know to succeed in business?
Well, first thing, it has to have some demand. Whatever you present out there, whatever product, whether it's a service or an actual physical, tangible product, whatever you're putting out there has a need, has a demand, and you can position it as a need so that people demand it. So you have a revenue stream. If you can't sell it, there's no business.
Yeah.
So the first thing is get into something. First thing, my advice, I've been in a lot of different things. Some things I was very interested in, some things I wasn't that interested in, but still made money.
That's entrepreneurial.
But I would say if you really want to into that whole gratification thing, get into something you really enjoy.
Something you enjoy.
Yeah, find that first. Once you find that, now find something you want to position within that realm, okay, of your enjoyment, something you like. Like you were into fitness, right? So you position yourself as a fitness instructor. You sold yourself as a fit, but your primary interest was getting in shape. Yeah. That's what motivated you.
Yeah.
And the reason why you ended up being a trainer is because you liked what you were doing.
Oh, yeah. So you want to find joy in, making money and not just hustling for the money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can make money, any which way, but you only live once. You might as well be happy too.
Yeah.
While you're,
Gotcha.
Preparing for the golden years.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The golden years. So, I wanted to wrap up here.
Okay.
The last little bit of questions that I wanted to ask. We talked about mindset. We talked about how to position yourself in business, margins, and different things like that. So, I guess what is one thing that I'm gonna go back to the money because we're all talking finances and business. What is, if somebody wanted to get in business today, right now, today in America, wherever they are? I know we're international, we're over in Asia, but what is maybe one thing that somebody can do to go and get money to even start a business? What's something that they should be doing from your recommendation, now looking at the markets, looking at the economy, how can they go get the money that they're seeking? Is it, I know my channel is about mindset, isn't it? From your perspective, is it thinking? Well, I know we got to go to work, but what's some of the things we got to go work for what we want?
I think
So,
if they've never done it before,
yeah,
they need a model.
yeah.
They need some type of experience.
So do they need to have a job? Do they need to be working towards entrepreneurship?
Get any kind of job. It doesn't matter on the job. Just get something.
Okay.
Get something. And I'm not talking about job hop and all that, but get something that interests you. Get a job. Learn about that business that you're working for.
Yeah.
And how you can, what is it? Understand that business.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just go to work.
Yeah.
Go to work and understand your role in this thing that's supposedly making money and paying your wages or your paycheck. Understand and start figuring out what exactly are they doing and how can I improve it? And do I like being in this industry?
Okay.
Do you hate your job? Do you hate dragging yourself out of bed and going there, or do you get a kick out of it?
Mm-hmm.
And don't talk about your role and it's too low and you're not being respected and all that. Just go there, and they're offering you, it's a contract basically. You're learning about contracts. That's your introduction. That's your first contract. It's called an employment contract. You have now contractually made a contract with your employer to come in here, provide a service, provide a job, a task, fulfill a task at a certain price, and you sign, right? That's a contract. You've now done your first contract. And that's probably one of the most important things you're ever going to learn is what is a contract and understand how to fulfill that contract. That'll keep you out of more trouble right there. So even if you make a lot of money, you don't understand contracts, you can lose it all.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to get off on the contract thing.
Yeah. So get your training by working for somebody else, working in another company or corporate.
Watch all their mistakes. Listen to everything.
Okay.
If they'll all sit around and talk about when they lost money and why and all that. Learn from those mistakes.
Okay.
Because those are learning. Those are real world lessons, experiences that happen, and it happens in every business. That's not all gravy. It's not all boom, and sometimes it's boom bust.
Yeah.
Sometimes it carries on. Every business has a window of opportunity, and just try to learn from other people's mistakes and other people's successes.
That's right.
Okay, the jobs are out there. You can get jobs, or at least they were when I left the States. I don't know now, but every job you get, every opportunity you get is a learning thing. You should be learning from everything you do in life.
So learning is important. I stress that on the channel. Reading, learning, having the right mindset. As you can see, I got a whole bunch of nuggets here from Planet Tan Steve. He's been a mentor, a friend, somebody that can give me the right guidance in business. So I appreciate your time, Steve. I'm still here another day or so, and then I'm out. So I will be shooting more content for you guys, trying to provide more value with the different mindset, different entrepreneurs that I'm going to be talking to, and as well as sharing you some more stories from my aspect in entrepreneurship. So, all right, so I'll check you guys on the next video. Peace.